Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. I have just watched the first 3 episodes of the 9-part series, the updated Beatles Anthology on Disney+. Me and Mr. Mael has done the full review. I think I'm just going to do this review and that'll be it. Just talking about the first 3 episodes. And then I just for me personally, I know I'm going to love the rest of it. There's not going to be any need for me to do another review. Just check out Joe's video. I just want my feelings of just watching, 1/3 of it. For me, the Beatles had, they were one of my first memories growing up. Seeing them on the Ed Sullivan Show and, becoming a fan. I've been a fan ever since. They're still, and they always will be my all-time favorite band. As some of you know, I did a video a few days ago saying I'm not going to bother buying the new Anthology CD box set. I'm happy with what I have here. I might have changed my mind. Also, I have listened to it on Spotify, the updated, they've improved the quality for some of the older tracks, and, I was very impressed with it. So I might have egg on my face, but at some point, not now, but at some point, I might just buy that Anthology CD box set. Watching the first 3 episodes, I enjoyed it more than I thought it would. I thought I would like it, at least, right? I do have the old DVDs, which I haven't watched in years, but, for the Beatles history, for us older fans, we know, we've heard a lot of the stories over and over again. But what I was impressed with, unless my memory's going, is there was some new or some clips that were not shown before that are shown, and they might have taken some stuff out that, some extra padding that wasn't really needed in the series. But I just think the first 3 episodes just flow so well. It goes all the way up to near the end of 1964 with A Hard Day's Night. And it just makes you realize, seeing that old, a lot of that old footage, and some I don't remember seeing before, some of it. It shows you why you became a Beatles fan. It wasn't, as much as the music was fantastic, it was their humor, it was their personalities, the 4 individual Beatles. They were a true band. Some of the stories that are in the first 3 episodes are very, they're very moving. When Ringo was replaced with Jimmy McNichol on drums because Ringo was sick, so Jimmy did a few shows, and George did not want to do that. He wanted, he said, if Ringo's not playing, I'm not playing. But I guess, he was finally talked into it, even though, he really didn't want to do it. And speaking of Ringo, what a powerhouse drummer he is. There's a lot of great footage of them performing live, and Ringo's just bashing the drums in a good way. His timing is just amazing, and he definitely was one important quarter of the Beatles. And yeah, just a lot of really good, much better quality live footage from, the early 60s. And even the interviews with Paul, Ringo, and George from whenever the late 80s and the 90s. It looks, it's widescreen now. It looks like it was filmed yesterday. And, Even some of those interviews, I think they've added a bit more to it than I remember. So I just found it really enjoyable and interesting. And like I said, I did learn, 2 or 3 things I didn't really know about before. And one funny thing is I know, the first time they were on the Ed Sullivan Show, they appeared again the next week. I don't remember if, back in 1964, if I saw that or not, or was even aware of it. But looking back at that footage, I've seen over the years many times, the second appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, they do this excellent version of this boy. But Ringo looks, I don't know if he's hung over or he's just really super tired or whatever, but he looks a little out of it on the drums. And then, once again, seeing the footage of Beatlemania, it really did, take over the world in the 60s. And people my age, of course, are going to remember how much the Beatles meant to us in the 60s. And, every year, or sometimes twice a year, when there was a new Beatles album, it's not like today. Even a band like Sparks, when they have a new album, of course I'm excited for it, but it's nothing compared to when there was a new Beatles album. And they never disappointed. So I'm just saying that at some point I might end up buying that anthology CD box set. And if you're on the fence about watching this documentary or not, I highly recommend that you do. I usually don't have Disney Plus, but when there's an event like this, or the Get Back that is on Disney Plus, then I order Disney Plus for a month and I watch it, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I just highly recommend the anthology, and I'm looking forward to the 6 upcoming parts. The one thing, I think it is, maybe it's on the bonus footage, but one thing I will say about, when the Threedles, is that how you say it? When Ringo, George, and Paul were together, there was, you could kind of sometimes feel tension in the room, especially between Paul and George. And I think Paul was a little not scared of him, but just kind of tiptoeing around what he's saying or whatever. Because, George could get moody, and maybe for a good reason. But there's one, and I'm sure it's going to be on one of the upcoming episodes, where they're in the garden, the 3 of them. George is playing his ukulele, and maybe Paul is too. And they're talking, and it's nice. But there's one point where Paul, I think he's just talking to George, saying something to George or asking him a question. And George either isn't listening to him on purpose, or he just was, in his own world. But George doesn't respond to him. So I don't know what that was all about, but that was kind of funny. So that's it. I just highly recommend the Beatles Anthology on Disney Plus, and check out Joe's full review. I haven't watched I watched the first 3 episodes before I watched it myself, and it was really good. And he's posted his thoughts on the final 6 episodes, but I want to watch the episodes before I watch his detailed review, unlike this video. So that's it. I'm a Beatles fan. I can't help it. Have a great day. Bye.